So we're back on the lawn project today, episode number 2.
We sure are. So for those of you who have probably jumped into this video, if you go back and check out the other lawn video, we basically, what did? We ferted this lawn.
We did, first ever fert application on it.
And you'll see as we roll up and down here that it's made it greener.
Oh, it's definitely made it greener.
It's thickened up
some of the lawn.
The original grass. There was a bit of a dormant patch right the way through here.
Yep.
That's come back to life again. And so now we're gonna add some selective herbicides.
That's the one. So we're going to try
the old Prolawn.
Try and get some of the weeds under control in here. I think one of the things that was quite interesting, it's broadsword. One of the things that was interesting through that fert application, we've got a lot of fine fescue that's come through in the lawn that we didn't really know was here. So that's going to be a debate whether we keep that or try and get rid of that at some point. But what we're doing today is a first herbicide treatment on the lawn. What we're using is, what are we using today? Broadsword. So this
Broadsword by Prolawn.
Yeah, there's another product that's pretty similar to this. It's called Triumph Gold. So Broadsword's probably the first product that you want to go to. A little bit slower working in terms of the time it actually takes to see results from this, and a little bit less aggressive than Triumph Gold.
Oh, we probably want to be slightly aggressive.
We probably do, but I think we ease into this because there's a risk that this will knock out quite a bit of what's in this lawn right now. So what we've got is we've got our lawn boy here, which has 10 litres of water in it. We've mixed about
This is actually pretty cool. So this broadsword actually says that if you are using a lawn boy and a couple of other different applications, it actually gives you a dilution ratio here.
Yeah, which is cool because it calibrated them for actually the
so it says 75 to 110 mils. I've used 110 mils.
Yeah, we're going the higher.
Per 10 litres, and there's 10 litres of water in there.
And this bottle here should last about 2,500 square metres of application. I'm not sure at what rate there, somewhere between some of those ranges. So we're going to get a lot of life out of this product. This is something that you'll have on your shelf for the next 3-4 years, hopefully.
Wow.
Because you don't want to be using this all the time.
No.
But you are going to use this probably at minimum once a year, maybe twice a year.
Okay.
So what we'll do, we'll kind of show you the lawn boy in operation, how we've got that set up. Maybe we'll just walk you around the lawn as well, show you where we've got to for a starting point for you.
And also, I suppose typically what you would do is that if you've got an established lawn like this, you'd kill all the weeds off first, right?
Yeah, before a fert.
But we decided to do a fert to see what would happen.
Well, it was just good time of the year. We had a bit of rain expected as well, so it was a good time to put fert down just to see what we're working with, really, because again, this is going to knock out quite a bit. That fert will still be working as well.
Yeah,
we put that down a few weeks ago, so that should slow release over
I'm pretty happy with
weeks.
what the fert's done. It's definitely brought this back to life.
Yeah, well, let's show everyone what this looks like over here.
So I guess this is that channel through here that you saw in the last video that looked all real dormant, and particularly right here. And so that's all basically greened up, brought it back to life, and it's thickened it up. But you can see there is patches of weed throughout here, and the weeds are basically strangling the grass from growing. So if we knock some of this weed out, we should hopefully get some more grass growth. And as you keep coming further back here, this is where the lawn starts to change. This is pretty much all weed. There's a few bits of, fine fescue in through here. There's a little bit of kikuyu running along the side there, but this is mainly weed. So I'm expecting for this to basically die off, and around the back there it does start to become more weed. There is a little channel there, but I mean, we're going to kill the weeds and we'll see what we've got left to work with, I suppose, which is I suppose a starting point to try and rectify the problems we've got going on here. And it's sort of similar as you come around the front of the property there, it starts to become a bit more, I suppose, grass and weed, patchy. It definitely doesn't look like that. So let's spray this down. So what this is going to knock out is a lot of the broadleaf weeds that we've got in the lawn here. And what are those? So if we come over to this section here, a lot of these types of weeds are going to be knocked out completely. Yeah, we've got them there. So they are going to leave some bare patches. But the great thing about the kikuyu that you've got in here, same with this over here, it'll knock that out, is that this should spread. So we should be able to fill in any of these spots that are left from the herbicide treatment. And it's going to take probably about 4 weeks for us to see results from this. As I said earlier, if we wanted a faster performing, we could go to a Triumph Gold, but it is a bit more aggressive and it's more costly as well. So probably best to start with the least aggressive option, which is this one here. It's a pretty mundane process walking around and pushing the lawn boy. We also don't know how far we're going to get out of the 10 litres. Hopefully we should be able to make the way around the lawn. What we ideally want to do is hit it in 2 directions. So if we're going to go around the perimeter here... That's what it says on the back of the container, is that 10 litres at once, or 175 to 110 mils is for 2 passes.
2 passes, okay, cool. So it'd be nice if we get our 2 passes out of this, because we want to go up and down this lawn, and then ideally crossways as well, to make sure that we get even application. And this is leaf activated, so you want to make sure you got some decent weather ahead of you when you're applying this, because you don't want it to rain and rinse it off. Unlike the fert application, you know, we'd like to do that in the middle of a rainstorm, would be ideal, because it gets watered in straight away.
So I suppose using this, the most annoying thing about it is that 10 litres, to try and turn it when you get to the end of the row here, you do kind of have to pick it up and shuffle it over, because there's like a little, what would you call it? There's like a little plastic, little rubber tube in the inside, right?
There is, yeah.
And so as that wheel turns over, it sort of opens it up and allows you to spray.
And the other thing with the lawn boy is you've got to be quite careful. If we weren't applying something that's selective like that, that dribble is going to create a huge patch there if it was something that was going to be hitting it.
And so it only works when you walk forwards, it doesn't work if you're pulling it backwards.
Correct.
So it's pretty directional. So what did you say, they make this also in a 20 litre?
So they make it in a 20 litre and a 10 litre version.
And so the 20 litre would be for way bigger lawns, but it's also going to be heavier to try and manipulate and move, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think 10's probably a good sweet spot for a lawn of this size. I've used this only on smaller lawns in the past, but I mean, I think that 10's fine here. If you need to fill it twice, I don't think there's any problem in doing that, because you've got to contend with extra weight.
I've used this here a couple of times. We have done, I put a treatment down for prickles.
Ah, you did too, that's right. And do you know how far the liquid got doing that treatment?
I think I managed to get 2 passes
on the 10 litres?
On the 10 litres.
Okay, perfect.
But that was a wee while ago, so don't necessarily quote me on that.
And this is Glenn's area of concern, down the side of his property, which doesn't get as much sun. Not working with the greater starting point on lawn here, as opposed to when we come around and actually look at what we've got that gets all day sun. So hopefully it doesn't have a huge impact in this area, but then again, we want it to, because we want to remove as many of those broadleaf weeds as possible. It's quite funny, we just had a neighbour walk by and comment on what we're doing, and everyone knows when you're doing a lawn treatment, weed and feed is like the bunny.
Weed and feed is the one,
Yep. That's what everyone
knows. One product, weed and feed.
So no, we're not doing weed and feed. And if weed and feed is all you can do, yeah, maybe, but we can do better than that. So we've told her, give us 6 months to
We've already done the feed,
results.
Which was the fert.
We have, that's our feed portion. And
now this is the weed part.
Exactly. But we're getting a lot more selective here in terms of what we're trying to remove, and doing it in a staggered approach. Not one bottle of pre-spray attached to your hose, weed and feed's not going to do the trick. So we're just working our way through the second pass. So we managed to get through with 8 litres across your lawn. So we filled up
for one pass, yeah.
Yeah, for the one pass. We filled up an additional 6 litres to get us back to that 8 litre mark. And by the end of the second pass, we should have pretty much used the full tank on there.
And so yeah, it's definitely a decent workout. You've got to walk at a pretty decent pace just to maintain the spraying action of this.
Yeah, and those corners can be a bit hard. I think this is a great example of where you want something like a lawn boy versus a traditional backpack or a handheld sprayer. Those sprayers are fantastic for like really specific spot weed treatment or doing really small sections. But if you're trying to work your way around a lawn of 300-400 square meters using a handheld or a backpack sprayer that didn't have the same kind of distribution from the nozzle, you'd be out here for far longer than what we've been doing this for. This is probably a 15-minute to 20-minute process for us across this lawn. So that's pretty much all there is to it with this application. So there's
not much is coming out now.
Yeah, no, because we're right at the bottom of the right at the bottom there, but we've pretty much gone across the whole lawn. This is a third pass, isn't it? Just across some of these.
Well, sections. I just wanted to finish the rest of that basically.
Yeah, rather than tipping it all out. So bit of a interesting one, because we can't, just like the fert, we can't show you the end result immediately. You're gonna have to come back in a later part of the series.
Well, you get the update to the last video in the next video.
The next one, so check out the next video. And I don't know what we're gonna be doing next time around. We'll have to see how this goes.
We'll probably, if it kills it all, we'll probably be rolling out some Ready Lawn.
Ready Lawn, yeah.
What do you reckon?
Episode 3, Ready Lawn rollout. That'll be a nice one, eh? Look, I think that it's come a long way just since the fert treatment.
Absolutely.
Like, looking at the lawn over here, it's looking far better than the previous video.
And yeah, it's just had a fresh mow and stuff, so fresh mow always makes a lawn look 10 times better than it really is. But I'm happy with the progress. Pretty much no effort applied, couple of chemicals, a little bit of product, a little bit of time. It is quite nice weather. We have had some rain followed by some sunshine, followed by some more rain and some sunshine, so that definitely does help. But and this is the time where lawns sort of turn on a little bit. But I'm happy with the progress so far.
Yeah, and I think for those keeping track or wanting to keep track, total spend on this is probably about $100 today, taking into account the fert that we bought.
Yep.
And also the herbicide treatment.
And the lawn boy that I borrowed from you.
Yeah, and the free lawn boy.
Yeah, so get a mate with a lawn boy and it doesn't cost you very much.
So we'll come back to you in the next part of the series. Not too sure what that is, but we'll just see how this lawn performs over the next 4 weeks is what it will take to see full effects from this treatment. And then we'll work out what we need to do next to try and deal with the lawn coming into summer, because that's going to be the challenge. We're coming into summer. However, you've got lawn that's going to react well to summer. Kikuyu is going to be really nice. You're not going to need to put too much water on it as well, if anything.
Yep, low maintenance is key.
That is
in my life.
Key. So don't go for a tall fescue or a fine fescue lawn.
Yeah,
it's high maintenance, especially when it comes to watering.
And it's a pain because also in the summer months around here is they put on water restriction. So if you've got a lawn that requires lots of watering in summer, you're restricted by that. So that's also a little keynote to think about if you were to roll out a special lawn, especially around this area, I suppose.
Yeah, hence why you're working with the right grass type here. So look, thanks again for checking in on the video, part 2 of the series. Don't know how many parts there's going to be, hopefully a lot, because that means that we haven't given up and rolled out ready lawns. So
yeah,
make sure you subscribe, stay tuned for the next video, and if you've got any tips for us on how to deal with this or anything that you think we should be doing, let us know in the comments down below.
And we'll catch you on the next one.